With me, I have Shiva. Welcome, Shiva.
Hey Kaushik, how are you?
I'm good.
And
So,
good evening to all the participants who have joined.
right. Shiva, let us start with what are markets now and what's happening in the market.
Okay, so the market is in an exciting phase, right? So many people would not have believed what the kind of rally which they have been seeing it in the month of July and starting in August as well. So the market has been on a non-stop roll since July. One thing which would have surprised many people is with the way the world markets are not been performing. Why? How come India alone like in doing all these things? People used to talk about the dollar index. People used to talk about the crude. Even a minor fall in the crude and then the dollar index, it has given a massive boost. The only reason is India was the one shining light among whatever the things which is happening. Even in terms of if you look at the earnings or if you look at the kind of consumption which India is doing, in spite of all these things, the noise was there. So how come we alone can be rallying when the global markets are not rallying and other things? Market always does the surprise factor. So even now, the same thing can be said in the future as well. Probably, probably for a month, we have outperformed the global markets. We
Hmm.
might just do a time correction after this for a while. If you look at even on a smaller time frame or a larger time frame in terms of the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, we are at a little bit of an overbought territory. But that doesn't mean like and these guys are going to stop it. FIs who have been like and selling non-stop for a few years or like and you can say several months, they have started coming back into the markets and they have started like in taking some positions. And the good thing about it is they needed to buy the stocks at a higher valuation compared to the earlier fall. Imagine
Right.
if you're looking at the US stocks, most of the stocks, either be it in the Dow or in the Nasdaq, corrected more than 40-50%. But here, hardly 20-30% of correction, and you're able to see that the bounce was equally strong. Even to my surprise, this July rally was like in a strong one.
Hmm.
But what is going to be interesting is, though the Fed has shown all the interest that they are going to be hiking the rates and they are not going to be stopping it unless the inflation is going to come down, how RBI going to be reacting tomorrow?
Hmm.
Okay, many were expecting RBI will do another out of the event, right, a kind of a rate hike before the Fed does it. They didn't do anything of that sort.
Right.
So tomorrow, if the RBI does only 25 basis point, then they will say everything is under control. Imagine if the RBI is equally aggressive, going towards 40 or 50 basis point, then the people will start be thinking, oh, okay, these guys are also going overboard in terms of making the hikes happening pretty fast. But one thing which is going to be in the RBI's favor is the way crude has been falling. Because India as a country, crude is going to be a major factor which is going to be affecting the Indian
Hmm.
macros. So when crude is falling, RBI will say, okay, we can give another benefit of doubt for another one more, like in a policy. We will just try to hike by 25 or 30 basis point. Then we will see it in the next policy what to be done. If that is going to be happening, the market has a potential to rally for another 500 to 1,000 points. And probably, yes, we might get to see some cool off. The rally which has happened is almost vertical. So I'm not expecting this rally to sustain. And moreover, rather than a fall, you might see a time correction which can be happening in the market.
Okay. Right. Shiva, I have a question that when your data is saying something else and what you see in the chart is something else. So, what's the trader psychology that we should have? Should we take a
Okay.
position? Should we build position in the market, or we should not? I mean, this would be questioned by many of our viewers today.
True. If you're looking at the markets from an intraday perspective to a positional perspective, even yesterday and today, intraday moves were totally different from a positional moves. So
Right.
every day you are getting like in the 2:30 or 3 p.m. buyer is coming in trying to buy the market and then trying to get like close it at the day's high. Following day he is getting a gap up and then ensuring that he is booking the profit. So that means
Right.
positional play it has been still bullish. But when it comes to intraday, yesterday and today, if you have looked at the data was suggesting us to be bearish. Even yesterday
Hmm.
morning, the data was like in completely bearish, and today it is absolutely bearish in the morning, first half. And whatever the move which happened between 12:30 to 1:30, there was a huge fall of more than 400 points, and then a sudden pullback. It is all an expiry-based move. But one thing which
Right.
has been happening, if you'd have seen the VIX levels,
Hmm.
compared to last week to now, the VIX, which was falling from 24, 25 to 16 or 15 odd levels,
Hmm.
as the market is heading towards that 17,400 and 500 mark, it has also started equally climbing from 16 to 17 to 18. And today it almost went to the 20 odd levels and then staying somewhere around 19. So what is
Right.
that indicating to you? It is indicating that there is some kind of a shots who are coming into the system who feels these guys have rallied too much. Let me take some short position. The
Right.
VIX is spiking is giving you an early indication that the market can correct for some time. And then the
Hmm.
next one, the dollar index, which was falling towards 104 mark, it is again back to that 106, 107, which is again posing some kind of a doubt for the rally that might have a problem. And in terms of the rupee, again it is back somewhere around 79.5. Even today it almost went to 79.8 odd levels, and then RBI intervened, or maybe something would have happened, and the like in rupee is coming back to the 79.3 mark. But the most important element is you are going to be seeing certain elements which is not going to be aligning. Many
Hmm.
people will be wondering, Shiva, the data says something, but the market is doing something. How should I be reacting? When you
Right.
have divergent data, always try to stay light. Because on a day like today, the IT sector, especially Infi, was the only guy in the Nifty 50 was in complete green, especially in the top 10. If you look at it, that guy was rallying 2%, whereas all others were falling 2%. Bank Nifty, every stock has fallen. So there is going to be some amount of stock specific actions which is going to be happening. Those guys is going to be keeping the index either on the upside or on the downside. So it is
Right.
going to be a tricky market for the next 1 month or so, considering the amount of like in a rally which we had in the last 1 month.
Right. So in this market condition, what should we do now? So we should focus on intraday trading or positional trading, or we should be looking at scalping the markets. So what's your view?
Kaushik, if you are a positional player, you will definitely benefit out of it because you know pretty well every dip is getting bought and I will keep on buying it. What
Yeah.
the bigger problem for the positional player is trying to time it to say, this is the top, I'm going to be keep on selling it. If you would have been sold it from 15,500, every 500 points, if you have been selling, you would have been sitting on a huge loss. Rather
Right.
than going on the opposite way, the market, as long as let it go and you keep following and riding the trend.
Hmm.
I also mentioned a point in my morning view today. If you observe the daily RSI, both on the Nifty and the like in a Bank Nifty, it is the after October. This is the first time the RSI is crossing the 70 mark, and it is consistently staying above that. If you'd have seen in the past also, whenever the RSI has stayed above that 70 mark couple of times, it has gone up to like an 82, 83. That means you can expect another 500 to 1,000 point rally, maybe a 1,500 point rally in the Bank Nifty, another 500 point rally in the Nifty. It's very much possible. So these
Right.
guys are like, you won't get to see that RSI having an extra attempt made on the daily RSI to go towards 75, 80. That is forcing us, yes, this rally can be make. And moreover, there is a saying, right? Until the last bear is out of the market, they are just going to be making sure they are all
Right.
completely wiped out. So that is the kind of rally which we are seeing. This is for the positional. As a scalper like me, as an intraday player, I don't care about anything. I just see the chart, I just see the data. Today morning,
Right.
we saw the open and high, which was available on the put side. We went and took the trade, done. Next, around 10:30, 11, we got the two candle theory on the last time we did the session on the Iran markets
Right.
on the two candle theory. We
Hmm.
got the same exact one. Immediately, it rewarded us close to 100, 150 points. Two good trades, our day is done. As an intraday trader, that is
Right.
where you're needed to put a full stop. But today, as I was in the session also, I can see many people not only made money during the morning, they lost big time in the afternoon. What they did is they keep on thinking that the market fall has begun and then we needed to keep on taking trades. That is
Hmm.
something I keep telling them. Though the intraday view is bearish, the positional view is still bullish. They have not changed the plan. So if you look at the EOD analyzer data also,
Hmm.
the continuous last 10, 12 days, the Bank Nifty has been on a buying spree. So every day
Right.
they go to the lower level and then they are closing it in the green. So in this kind of a market, if you are an intraday player, try to scalp. If you are looking for a trend day, yes, you might get 1 or 2 days, but every day if you are looking for a trend, then it may not happen.
Right. And I was seeing something interesting today, that 17,300 call got written today as well. Sorry, 17,300 put got written today as well. That means overall market structure looks bullish. Right. So
Kaushik, if you look at
for
that
next week,
17,300 put, it
put.
went from 2 or 5 rupees almost
Hmm.
to 160 and then came closed at zero.
Right.
It's a crazy one. The same with goes with the Bank Nifty puts as well. Something which
Yeah.
was trading at 12 rupees went to 450 odd levels and then came and closed at zero. So
Right.
clearly, the writers are making use of all these opportunities. But as a
Right.
scalper, you would have got an opportunity. It's not that the
Right.
market is only awarding the sellers. But today I felt little odd because the sellers would have been really trapped, especially if they would have been writing the puts in the morning and then thinking that, okay, the
Right.
market is doing in fall, and then let me go and write a call. All
Hmm.
those sellers would have got trapped, because even if you look at some of the calls towards the late end, and even the
Hmm.
puts moved
Right.
from 5 rupee to 80 rupees, because some of the sellers who
Right.
sell the
Hmm.
like in what to say, the 4 or the penny ones, like the 4
Hmm.
rupees, 5 rupees, they would have all been like in butchered today. So the
Right.
market, I think it is a day for the sellers also to be tested, and that's what it did today.
Right. And especially I like your two candle theory also, because that gives a very superb trade.
True.
Right. And this, we have done already a webinar with you on two candle
Right.
theory. But just run us through how you formulate a strategy. I mean, for a
Okay.
trader, how to formulate a strategy.
Okay, so like, and there is a saying, right? The holy grail, holy grail. There is no such holy grail as long as you know what is the system which you follow and how you needed to develop it. So when I started trading, like, and I
Hmm.
used to look at various data, but there are certain days I used to make money. There are certain days I don't make money. Then I realized, Shiva, you are able to make money on certain days, but you're losing money also on certain days because you're following the same chart and patterns.
Hmm.
Then I understood, okay, it is not about only certain things. You needed to correlate and connect the dots, which is going to be available in the market. Then I
Hmm.
understood what are the things which I needed to connect.
Hmm.
First, I looked at the Dow. Okay, we are listening to the global market. So I needed to look at the Dow aspects as well. So
Right.
how the Dow is closing, how the Dow is moving in during intraday, how the Dow futures is playing. Then I
Hmm.
looked at that first particular dot. Then what I
Right.
did is, okay, this is on the global market perspective. So what are the factors which is affecting Indian market, which I needed to consider when I
Hmm.
take a trade? Then I
Right.
understood open interest plays a major role if you are a player into the FNO space. So how
Huh.
they are creating the positions in the options, how they are creating the positions in the future. Then I looked at that particular data. Okay, so whether they are creating in the current month futures, current series, or in the next series, how they are playing around. If someone who wanted to play positional, what they needed to do, you should not only look at the current series, you should also look at how they are positioning for the next couple of series as well. So I
Hmm.
started understanding, okay, these are the things which they are doing it. Then, from a writer's perspective, on the option side, I started looking at the data. So, as an option writer, why you wanted to sell a product?
Right.
When you know that you are the one who is creating a position, you know you will be at an advantage and you will not sell a product to go into a loss. Then, in that scenario, we also needed to look at futures. Then, whenever these guys are trying to create the futures,
Hmm.
they are also trying to create their positions in the options in such a way that they will not be losing the money. So, I started connecting each and every dot, and then, in spite of me looking at all this data, still I was not able to make money. Then I understood VIX also plays a role. Okay, when the VIX goes higher and the market also goes higher, yes, there is a possibility that the shots are coming into the system. We might see a sell off similar to the one which we saw today. And the next one, the IV levels, the implied volatility which is available on the option chain, that also
Right.
plays a major role. Because as a buyer, I needed to have a clear front and I needed to know where exactly the buyers are there so that I can join them. As a seller, where exactly they are creating a position, where exactly the buyers are sitting. So
Right.
once we started creating and like in getting this done, then I thought, okay, we know these are the factors. Let me
Hmm.
connect it, and if I'm able to get a tick mark on all of this, then that can work out for me a good trade. So that is how we formulated the two candle theory and other things. Even when we formed the like in what to say, the open and high strategy, we followed the similar parameters to get all this curated.
Right. So, for all our viewers, I want to share this, that Shiva is going to teach us that what's the dot setup, and how to trade the dot setup also. So, if I can show my screen. Yeah. So, we are going to do this event uh, on 6th of August, which is starting from this Saturday, and we are going to learn that what is dot setup strategy and how to scalp Bank Nifty and Nifty. So the day one is 3 to 6. We are going to understand the theory. Then day two and day three is Wednesday and Thursday, where we are going to spend time during market hours and learn how to implement this strategy. So this is going to be a very interesting webinar. I am excited. And Shiva, you can elaborate further that what we are looking at this,
Okay.
how the event
Uh,
will go like.
Kaushik, I think some of your participants would have attended my previous session, but this session we will definitely try to give them more insight with the current market volatility.
Yeah.
Because as a process, I don't like and have a lot of strategies. As a scalper, I needed to find one good strategy and keep refining it.
Right.
What we have done over a period of time is we are keep refining it. We needed to know how much is the volume which we are looking at and where exactly the market can take a support. Even if day like today the direction and everything was bearish but the market started going up, how we can identify that in these kind of days, how to play, when I should be really aggressive, when I should be little calculative. So
Right.
we will be looking at all those parameters. On Saturday we will go in theory.
Hmm.
On Wednesday and Thursday, those are the days wherein we will show them in live as well. So we will
Right.
learn, and also we will see the theory aspect and the practical aspect both in the live market, so that the people feel okay. So whatever the things which I'm learning, that also
Hmm.
can be applied in the live market. So that's very important. I don't want to just keep it at an theory level class wherein the people will feel, will it really work? Because people will have a lot of apprehension whether all these strategies will really work. As a
Right.
discretionary trader, we needed to set certain rules and we will follow those rules and then show how it can be done as well.
Right. So Shiva, there are a couple of questions that from the dots, right? So can you specify one or two dots that what we are going to learn and what are these dots about?
Okay, the first dot is going to be the open interest.
Hmm.
Okay, because you needed to know how to identify what is open interest, first of all, the position that has been created in the futures and option space, and who's creating it and what is the role in it. Imagine whether it is a long build up, short build up, or short covering, or a short long unwinding. There are four
Right.
quadrants which is there. So how
Hmm.
we needed to decode these four quadrants. So what is a
Right.
long build up and what is a short build up? What is a short covering? What is a long unwinding? We will be going in detail. And if you're a buyer, where you needed to be. If you're a seller, where you needed to be. We needed to
Right.
understand that. So we cannot
Right.
be like, in, say, for example, the end.
I guess we have lost Shiva. There might be some issue. Let us wait for Shiva to join back. Yes, Shiva, I guess you're back with us.
Okay, there was a minor disruption of internet on my end. Okay,
Yeah.
so as I was telling to you, so we will be looking at where exactly the market is like in positioning. So we will be seeing whether where to be as a buyer, where to be as a seller.
Right.
That's one key connecting dot. And then when I talk about the IV and the VIX, that is again going to be an important one. We needed to know which IV levels will be favorable to a buyer, which IV levels to be favorable to a seller. Not
Right.
all IV levels will be equally played. If I have
Hmm.
an IV level at 45, 50, I needed to play it differently as a buyer. And if the
Right.
IV levels is around 10 or 15, I needed to think about differently. My mindset has to be different totally. Why? Low IV levels will not have much premiums, and you needed to have a different setup altogether. When it is an high IV level, I may be deploying my like in one or two lots, wherein in a low IV level, I can deploy 10, 20 lots as well. Because of volatility, everything plays a role. So these are some of the key components which we will be focusing on during the session.
Right. And I love the way you analyze the data because I've seen you many times analyzing the data and giving the live commentary. And this is what we are going to look at in this event as well.
Exactly. On Thursday, it is going to be more of live commentary wherein I can guide the team whoever has been joining. So, how I'm looking at the data, what are the things which we will be looking at in the live market, how we can place a trade using that.
Right.
As a trader, we don't want several trades during the day. Many people think, Shiva, if you're scalping, will you be scalping all through the day from 9:15 to 3:30? No. All we will be looking is certain time and certain intervals where the market gives us an opportunity. And if the market is moving pretty well as a scalper, my intention is to be there in the trade for 3 to 5 minutes, get done, move on to the next one.
Right. So, Shiva, there are a couple of questions that I want to take now, shift the tangent a bit out of this event because I know this is going to be a great learning experience. But I want to come back to trading. So, what's the importance of rolling open interest, right? And this is what you master also. So, static open interest versus a more faster open interest that you analyze, right? We call it rolling open interest.
Like when
How
you're
do
looking
you
at the
evaluate?
data, what I normally do is when I look at the open interest data, I just don't look at only for the current series. Okay, so
Right.
why sometimes it is going to be misleading is sometimes what they will do is they will try to take positions in the future series, they accumulate it now itself.
Hmm.
And imagine if I wanted to take some large positions, will I give it to everybody? I don't want everybody to participate in a rally because I'm the one
Right.
who's going to be putting in my money. These are all like done by the biggies actually. When they are doing it, they don't want everybody to be there. What they will do is they will do a shake off. How will they do a
Right.
shake off? That OI will give you the clue. Imagine if I have created 1 lakh quantity. Okay, this is going to be in static open interest, which I have created 1 lakh quantity, which I will keep it. But what I will
Mm.
do is additionally, I will create some 10 to 20,000, which will be a
Mm.
rolling OI, which I will use it for my intraday and to show as if I'm booking the profits. So my
Right.
positional play, it will be still there. By intraday play, if I'm booking the 20,000, what is going to be the game? When you're looking at the data at the end of the day, you'll be looking at the data saying, Shiva, today 20,000 OI has come down from the FI. That means FIs have unwounded the position. So your
Mm.
immediate thinking is, okay, these guys have come down. So tomorrow the market is going to
Mm.
be falling. But positionally, they have still that quantity of 1 lakh. So only
Right.
some quantity which they would have done it, they are unwinding it, which they will show as a weakness of them, but it is a trap which is laid out. So what will happen? Immediately, our thinking is let us go and short this market. We will start to create short
Right.
positions, and once they pump in another 20,000 on the upside, the shorts will be forced to cover. That is when their real profit booking, which will be coming in. So
Right.
that's the way I will be looking at the OI data from a positional perspective as well.
So, Shiva, do you place any importance to futures open interest?
Yeah, that plays a major role in our options trading. So though I trade only in the options, we always look at the future data to take positions. Where is the support, where is the resistance, and how much quantity has been created. Even when you're looking at the two candle theory, the
Hmm.
volume which I've given you, it is all in the futures, not in the option
In the
segment.
futures, right?
So we look at the future data to take a trade in the option segment.
Right, because future is a direct bet to the market.
Exactly.
It's a
Though
direct
the spot,
directional bet.
yeah, many people ask me, Shiva, like, can I track the spot? Spot is not a traded instrument. Future is the
Right.
one which is a traded instrument. So that's the reason we look at the futures data.
Right. So, in all your trading, you look at volumes and the formations that it is forming.
Absolutely. So when I look at the connecting dots, the first foremost thing is going to be the Dow, the open interest. Then there comes the volume, the VWAP, the IB, the VIX, and then comes the super trend, the VWAP, WMA, PSR. So once I connect all these 10, it will be giving me a perfect setup whether to go on the long or on the short side.
Right. So this is going to be interesting. So connecting all 10 dots and then trading. I mean that accuracy also increases. So
Absolutely.
so Shiva, how did you come to this 10 dots? I mean, why?
Earlier,
Uh,
yeah, as I told you earlier, it was only two, three dots. Once
right.
you follow a two, three dots and it is not
Uh,
giving you the result, then you will be
hmm,
looking for answers from the market. Market will say,
right.
Shiva, you followed this, but you're lacking this. Then go and
Right.
test that. Earlier, I used to look at the PCR. So once I
Hmm,
started adding the RSI, then I have stopped looking at the PCR because
hmm,
PCR and RSI almost does the same job to me. Many people
hmm,
say, Shiva, we are at a PCR of 1.75. Now it is at zero point 0.3. You can look at the RSI also to get the similar kind of a data. There are
right.
few additional indicators which I was using it, which
Hmm,
I felt it is a redundant one of another one. So then I removed it. Then these
right.
10 indicators have been giving me the results actually.
Okay. Right. So I'll take couple of okay. So Shiva, what would be the mode of delivery during this 3 days? I mean, for first day we are going to learn this 10 dots, right? The
Correct.
10 concepts,
Correct.
and then for next 2 days, Wednesday and
So
Thursday, we are going to spend time during market hours.
exactly. So we will go in theory on day one and day two, and
Hmm.
then the complete practical approach on day three. So even on day two, in case if there are a live market opportunities, we might go on the live market opportunities. But we will learn on Saturday, and then we will reinforce that on again on Wednesday. So Thursday will be the
Right.
actual pitch wherein we will be getting to play. So Wednesday will be like in a practice match. Thursday will be the actual match.
Right. And are there any prerequisite that the learner should know about before joining?
So I think the learner should be like an pretty well like an some at least basics of F&O is required. Someone who's been trading in the what to say the options market, yes. But this concept is going to be purely on the index options and index futures. So we
Right.
cannot be applying this in the stock futures and stock options. The pure reason is
Right.
liquidity, and that's the
Right.
reason we will be focusing only on the index. And the most important element is since we are doing it in the live market, please do not try to copy or replicate me because as a scalper my risk appetite is totally different, but based on your capital and your what to say your risk appetite, you needed to plan your trades as well, because many traders sometimes what they do is they think that okay, Shiva has entered into a trade, we will also enter into a trade. And you know about the scalping as well, you needed to be really quick. It is not like in a
Right.
positional trade wherein you can keep on holding your position for the whole day. Imagine if someone who would have been holding the position for the whole day today, you would have been
Huh.
on a big loss. So that's
Right.
something which you needed to bring it as a mind control as well.
Right. So there are a couple of learners who want to enroll now. So I'll share the link. You can go to elearnmarkets.com/market life with Shiva Kumar. So you can just go on to the home page. You'll see the banner here. You can click and you can register from here. Right. So this is how you can register. And 3 day event, we are going to spend time with Shiva, and I am excited for this, right? So
I think before the Bangkok event, this event is going to give them a heads up how we are
yeah,
going to be doing it and what are the things which we will be watching in the live markets.
right. So Shiva, just a quick recap of what markets are looking at, because I'm excited to know your view also. So what are the monthly open interest and the weekly open interest? What's the view that you're looking at, and what is your view for next for this August expiry, where
Okay,
you're
so
looking
if
at
you're
market?
looking at, okay, just we concluded today's expiry. For the next expiry, the clue is going to be coming in from the RBI tomorrow. So if the
Right.
RBI is going to be little dovish, I'm expecting the market to be like an at least not falling a great extent. But if RBI is like a little aggressive in their approach in terms of what is it, hiking the rates, we might see a minor bit of a correction considering we have been rallying almost for the entire July series. So we needed some breather. But
Right.
that is always healthy for the market. We cannot be having too much of froth also. So that is
Hmm.
not going to be a good. So if we are getting some correction, then yes. But is it like an Shiva, like an are we going to be going towards a new highs? Only God knows. No one can tell that. But many people are expecting already like in 20,000 on the Nifty, 21,000. I will take one series at a time rather than looking at multiple series. And for the current series, usually July and August expected to be bullish, but September and October is the moment wherein the real anything which is hidden under the closet we will get to know in September and October from the global markets as well, because you would have seen the 2007-8 how the crisis unfolded, the Lehman crisis, and then the whatever the Satyam saga and everything. So in case if there is going to be anything, let's watch out for the next 6 months. And 2023 will be a golden year in terms of the long term investment. That's what I'm expecting it to be.
Right. So thank you, Shiva. Thank you for giving your time, giving your insights on markets, and accepting our request to teach our learners also. So
Absolutely, my
thank you very
pleasure.
much, and thank you all the learners for joining in for today's session. So thank you, Shiva, once again,
Thanks,
and
Kaushik,
and
and
I'm looking
thanks to
forward
all
to
the
this
people.
event.
Look forward to seeing you all on Saturday and in next week. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you. And I'll
Bye.
see you all. Me and Shiva are waiting for you to join this webinar that we are going to do. So thank you everyone for joining in.